Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. Hoping a great day and had a wonderful weekend. Bitcoin's at 97,000, essentially just ranging between 95 and 98,000. Okay, so again, awesome stuff in a lot of ways. The more it ranges, the better off it's going to do, due to the fact that it kind of ramped up from that low 91K range. We'll talk about that. We're going to look at the monthly and weekly timeframes, as well as get a quick peek at liquidation. Quick congrats though to our committee for some nice profits over the weekend. Good old H bar 84%. That was actually a pretty healthy amount of profit considering it's a 5x leverage trade. That coin continued to go further up too as well. Also, congrats to those who traded XRP on our Premium Plus group there, Cardano, BNB, a lot of nice scalps here today so far. Again, cool stuff that's on the back end there. Let's look at the liquidation levels here first to start. We'll go from there. And what we want to recognize too here with liquidation, folks, is just how heavy the concentrations are becoming above and below the price. In other words, anything under 95K, we got a lot of liquidation there, right? Each one of these red bars is about 1.5 to 2 billion. So there's a chunk there. I haven't counted up yet, but liquidation down as low as 92K is a rough estimate there. Heavy concentration between 94 and 93. Same thing as well with the inverse here, of course, at 98, upwards of about 100,000. Granted, I think we're seeing a lot more liquidation on the downside because a lot of folks are taking longs at this level, feeling more confident in taking along with Bitcoin. So again, we're one of those. We have an average price about 96,000, 95.9, somewhere in there. And definitely looking pretty good here for the moment, but we don't want to just blindly take it long right now because there's liquidation above the price, right? It's not a reason to take it. But from a macro perspective, bigger picture, last 30 days, there's tremendously larger amounts of liquidation here. Some of these bars are upwards of 8 to 9 billion. Okay, so a lot, all right? Folks are shorting this coin and it makes sense. People don't expect it to pass 100,000. I get that. We take a look here at liquidation delta. We can recognize that we're just in the throes of just normal liquidation. This is nothing crazy out of the ordinary, basically just telling us we now have slightly more longs than shorts in the market. And we take a look at open interest, we can see 96,300 is that local point. Now again, folks, when we look at open interest, you want to recognize that that's an area that people are mostly averaged in. So oftentimes it's a support level because people feel like they can, add to their position and buy those dips. Okay, so again, people are pretty heavy at the 96K range, just as a rough estimate for that local point of control. We can kind of see that reflected on the charts here too, especially when we zoom in. 96.5, that lower range there is definitely an area that people are heavy. Okay, so again, good stuff there in that sense. Let's take a quick look at the daily time frame. No, sorry, let's go ahead and look at the monthly and work our way down. And the monthly is not going to be a big surprise for anyone. It's going to be one of those situations where we're going to see a lot of bullish continuation situations here, and there's no other way around it. The big picture is looking pretty strong. Okay, so we had a monstrous candle last month, of course, from 70K upward to about 100K is a rough estimate. So a good solid percent there, 30% or more. When we look here at all the indicators, we're over 70 on the RSI. Generally, that's a continuation, folks. You don't want to try to short into that. But again, the truth is, hindsight's 2020. But the last time we came up to that level, we slowly tapered off into a bit of a flag pattern. The price action pulled back, or you could even say pennant pattern. However you look at it, previously we got that nice breakout. So we may also see a very similar circumstance here where 90 to 100,000 is that range that we establish. We flag out before the next leg up. There's that as well. But either way you look at it from a monthly perspective, everything's looking right where it needs to be, looking very good here. Absolutely more prone to continuation than pulling back at this point. Same thing here with the weekly too. We take a look at this. Just to clarify, first of all, with the stochastic, it is swinging back down. This is the first attempt. First stochastic swing isn't super strong, so I'm not super concerned with that. We're over 70 on the RSI too, also a good continuation potential, and money flow index is remaining above that. That implies while this coin is oversold, we have money to back it up, and there's a lot of money still flowing into Bitcoin. While last week was a smaller week, granted, it was also a holiday week too. Okay, so we got to recognize that, but we hit right there at that SMA, so kind of just letting us know that we're right on par for our average amount of volume for last week. If we see a lower amount of volume this week, that might be an indication that we're seeing weakness and the price may continue to pull back. But for the most part, that's kind of what we're looking at there. I don't love this doji candle, but it's also somewhat bullish. Don't let the color fool you, just based on the simple fact that it's kind of a hammer up. Generally speaking, we opened and closed at 97,300, really, really close to its open. It was only like really only about $300 or $400 off. So this isn't a super bearish sign just because it's red. It just implies here that we open and close in the same week, and that's just generally a neutral sign. But it can be bearish sometimes when it comes at the top of a continuation, right? Kind of shows indecisiveness, and that people are trying to figure out if we should take a long versus a short. Our liquidation delta also reflects the same behavior. So again, the truth is we could see a pullback, but from a momentum standpoint, it doesn't make a ton of sense. We look here, we're above all moving averages on the daily time frame, and we want to recognize a few things too here as well while we're on the daily, and that is, of course, the RSI maintaining above 50, below 70, a nice cooling off situation here, where we can see traditional RSI pulling back, money flow index and RSI pulling back, and then of course we can also see stochastic swinging down as well. So what does that mean for us? Well, that just generally favors the upside in a lot of ways. Again, it seems kind of strange and weird, but we're on the right side of the tracks there, and we're above all moving averages. We have a lot of support in this range. Okay, once we start losing, if we lose this 94.5 mark, I'll be a little bit more concerned, or just say 95K as a round number. This 0.5 fib level, that would be a cause for concern. While we wicked all the way down last night, we recovered quite quickly this morning, mainly because it was just that natural weekend sell-off. Asian markets opened last night in the red, and traditional markets open in the green today. So good stuff there as far as sustainability is concerned. We've also got a significant amount of volume flowing in the last 4 to 12 hours. So we can see here, volume was increasing as the price comes down, and now we have this magnificent, very super strong bullish engulfing candle. So this is a very firm indication that there's just a lot of buying pressure at 95K, right? So it's a good sign. MACD is trying to converge. Stochastic is swinging up for the second time. That carries more weight than the first, which is generally good. It implies that this second wave of selling pressure hasn't succeeded, and the more likelihood we're going to find the price increasing is greater. Okay. Same thing with the RSI being up over 50 there. That's a fantastic recovery. Money flow index to back that up, and then of course we're tentatively above the 20 and likely to close above the 50. So those are all very, very good signs here. So I really like what I'm seeing. I do think that we're probably likely to hit our profit target in the low 99K range. Again, we're averaging at about 95, mid to upper 95K. So I really confidently think that we're in pretty good shape with our long position. So if you're watching, you took that long with us in our community there, then I would say I wouldn't be super concerned. However, at this point, when we take a look, and this is a little premature, but we are below the cloud still. Lagging span is not free and clear of the price action, and conversion lines below the baseline. These are mostly bearish signs, but you do got to recognize, folks, it's all bearish because of this little push here, that little stunt from the Asian markets. And we take a look, that was about a 3.5% correction, which is quite significant, but we've also corrected back and returned fire about 2.5%. So from a momentum standpoint on the shorter term time frames, we do have some resistance here in the 97K range. We can't close above 97K today. It may be a cause for concern. We'll revisit that later and double check. But for the moment, I'm not concerned with this because this is moderately range-bound activity, plus it's weird weekend data. As you can see, this is what weekends do. Super low volume with occasional high volume candle bars. Not really all that consistent. Right now, what is consistent is a lot of buying pressure in the last 3 hours, and this volume is outweighing the previous downtrend, and that leads me to believe that we're here to stay and the price is going to go higher. Again, those are just things you want to pay attention to. Volume, I would say, is probably the most important indicator. Second to that, of course, is leverage or liquidation, which is why we look at this data here. So I'll post our playout chart on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. You'll have access to that. Looks a little something like this here, where I provide you with indications of what I feel is going to happen with coins that I review. So check that out, and obviously don't forget to like the button, comment below. Very last thing too, of course, Bitunix, folks, $12,000 deposit bonus this month. Really awesome. It is a tiered deposit as per usual, but it's super easy to qualify. And we hit our volume unlock easy. Like last month we had 800 million in volume. This month 300 million is going to be super easy, so we got to get a 150% prize pool. It's pretty cool. Anyways, read that link down below if you're curious. Feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day. I thank you so much again for being an amazing part of my life. We'll look forward to seeing you in the next one. Take good care of yourself. Bye-bye.